Everyone knows Michael Jordan's triumphs, but few understand the silent decision that changed everything. When he was a teenager, Jordan was overlooked for the varsity team, and he quietly vowed that average would never define him. Before the highlights, before the fame, he built a different standard in isolation. What really set him apart is not what you think, and the truth begins in the moments nobody saw. In the fall of 1978, the gym at Laney High buzzed with the usual tryout nerves. 50 hopefuls lined up, but only 15 names would make the varsity basketball roster. Michael Jordan, 15 years old and standing just 5 feet 10 inches, scanned the list pinned to the wall. His name was not there. Instead, Coach Clifton "Pop" Herring had placed him on junior varsity, choosing a taller sophomore, Leroy Smith, for the final varsity spot. The decision was not personal. Herring wanted Jordan to play, not sit on the bench behind older players. Still, the disappointment hit hard. Jordan went home, closed his bedroom door, and let the embarrassment wash over him. He cried quietly, away from teammates and friends. His mother, Dolores, encouraged him not to quit. The next day, he returned to the gym, but something had changed. He started practicing longer, repeating drills alone, focusing on the smallest details. On junior varsity, he became relentless, piling up points and outworking everyone, but not for applause. The list on the wall became his private fuel. Every missed shot, every tired moment, he remembered that roster and decided that being ordinary would never be enough. In March 1982, with just 17 seconds left in the NCAA championship, a freshman named Michael Jordan caught a pass from Jimmy Black and rose for a jumper from the left wing. The ball dropped cleanly, giving North Carolina a 55-54 lead over Georgetown and sealing the title. That shot became an instant legend. Headlines called him a hero, and for a moment, it looked like a single play had written his future. But inside the locker room, Dean Smith handed Jordan a towel and then pointed him back to the practice court. Smith believed that greatness didn't come from one highlight, no matter how dramatic. The next morning, while the campus buzzed, Jordan was back running drills, including footwork, mid-range shots, and free throws, repeating the same fundamentals that had brought him there. He averaged 17.7 points per game that season, but the real lesson was clear. A single shot might win a game, but only daily discipline builds a career. In the late 1980s, the Chicago Bulls kept running into a wall painted blue and red. The Detroit Pistons, under coach Chuck Daly, did not just play defense, they engineered it. They called it the Jordan Rules. Every time Michael Jordan touched the ball, 2 defenders closed in. If he drove to the basket, Bill Laimbeer or Rick Mahorn met him in the air, arms and elbows up, sending him to the floor. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars cut off passing lanes, forcing Jordan into traps and double teams. The plan was simple: wear him down, hit him hard, and never let him find a rhythm. Over 3 straight playoff exits from 1988 to 1990, Jordan's scoring stayed high, sometimes seeming superhuman, like the 63-point explosion against Boston in 1986, but his body paid the price. He missed 64 games in one season with a broken foot. By the fourth quarter of those battles with Detroit, fatigue showed in every step. Bulls coach Doug Collins watched as his star player battled not just opponents, but exhaustion and bruises that lingered long after the final buzzer. Talent alone was not enough. The Pistons had exposed a flaw. Under targeted, punishing pressure, even the best could be forced to the edge. Tim Grover arrived at the Bulls' practice facility in the summer of 1989 with a plan that looked nothing like the league's usual routines. Grover was not interested in making Michael Jordan look stronger. He wanted to make him last longer. The program started before sunrise, 4 days a week, with compound lifts like squats and deadlifts, each movement tracked and adjusted for the way Jordan actually played. Grover noticed Jordan took more steps on his left than on his right, so he loaded the bar unevenly, forcing both sides to adapt. Joint-specific drills targeted ankles and wrists, building resilience where injuries had stolen games in the past. Sprints were measured in intervals, not laps, designed to mimic fourth-quarter exhaustion. The focus was not on highlight dunks, but on absorbing contact and staying upright when defenders crashed in. Over 2 years, Jordan's weight climbed from 195 to 210 pounds. His vertical leap increased by 4 inches. By the time the season opened, he was no longer just a scorer. He was engineered for durability, able to handle playoff minutes and physical traps without breaking down. The quiet rebuild did not draw headlines, but it changed everything that came next. Phil Jackson arrived in Chicago with a different vision. Practices were not just warm-ups, they were battlegrounds. Michael Jordan did not relax after winning. He demanded more from himself and everyone around him. During the Bulls' first championship run from 1991 to 1993, the intensity in the gym only grew. Teammates like Scottie Pippen learned quickly that comfort had no place here. Standards were measured by effort, not reputation. The friction was real. Jordan once punched Steve Kerr during a heated drill, but both later said it was about trust, not anger. Titles did not soften routines. If anything, each trophy made the practices sharper, the expectations higher. Success was not a finish line. It was proof that discipline worked, and the only way forward was to raise the bar again. Retirement did not signal the end of Michael Jordan's discipline. Away from the spotlight in 1994, he quietly rebuilt his conditioning, sticking to early morning drills and strength routines with the same intensity as before. When he returned to the Bulls in 1995, there was no shortcut, only repetition and structure. 2 years later, in the 1997 NBA Finals, Jordan faced the Utah Jazz while sick and dehydrated. He played 44 minutes and scored 38 points. Even when his body faltered, the habits he'd built carried him through. The work outlasted the moment, proving that identity forged in discipline survives any change. In any field, consistency outlasts talent. Today, discipline, not hype, separates those who endure from those who fade. The real difference is built in silence, and it still decides everything.